Hi everyone, my name is Kidsmar Iradi and I am one of the reporter of the Chapter 7 Qualitative Method. So without further ado, let's dig it up. Political science is the study of power, political authority, conflict, and negotiation, all of which can be approached through deep observation and analysis. Qualitative research refers to data collection in which the focus is on non-numerical data. Some scholars rely on mixed methods to answer their research questions about the world. Qualitative research is flexible and open-ended. It allows the researcher to explore ideas as they develop, making it useful in studying complex social and political issues where human perspectives are important. So qualitative methods can take the form such as first, interviewing. Interviewing is a conversation with one or more people to collect data on a research question. This involves direct interaction with individuals to gather detailed information about their thoughts, experiences, or knowledge. It also allows the researcher to explore answers further through follow-up questions. Second, documentary sources. Texts collected from field sites, relevant organizations, libraries, archives, focuses on documentary sources is especially powerful for collecting primary sources, or those documents which are original sources of knowledge on a topic. This refers to a use of written or recorded materials such as reports, records, archives, or official documents. These sources provide original or existing informations that help in understanding a topic. Third, ethnographic research. Site-specific collection of data, often referred to as a fieldwork. Researcher records observations in the field and may also rely on interviews and collection of documents. These methods involves observing and studying people in their natural setting. The researcher becomes immersed in the environment to understand behaviors, interactions, and social practices. Fourth, digital ethnography, collection of data in the cybersphere, and observation of activity mediated by computers or related information technologies, including virtual reality. This focuses on studying behavior in online environments. It examines how people interact, communicate, and express themselves through digital platforms and technologies. Last, case studies. It is a focused examination of an event, place, or individual to explore dynamics of analytical interest. Case studies may employ some of all of the above methods. This is an in-depth examination of a single subject, such as person, group, event, or institution. It aims to provide a detailed understanding of specific condition or situation. There is also strength and limitation. Let's discuss the strength of qualitative research first. Qualitative methods are useful for identifying causal mechanisms. It means qualitative methods are effective in identifying the underlying reasons or processes behind certain outcomes. It helps explain how and why something happens, not just what happens. Second strength is qualitative methods produce more fine-grained and nuanced analysis than widely used quantitative methods such as regression analysis. Means these methods produce rich and in-depth data. They capture complexity, context, and different perspectives, allowing for a more complete understanding of an issue. The limitations of qualitative research is they are typically very research intensive. Qualitative research requires a significant amount of time, effort, and sometimes cost. Data collection and analysis are often slow and require careful attention. Second, qualitative methods relates to the difficulty replicating findings because qualitative research is based on context and human experiences. It is difficult to repeat the study and obtain the exact the same results. This can affect consistency and generalizations. So, in methods of gathering qualitative studies, one of the methods of its based on the module is the interviews. So what is interviews? Interviews are conversation with relevant human subjects. For the purposes of answering a research question, there is a great variation in how to approach interviewing. Key decisions for researchers revolve around interviewee selection, whether to structure interviews or leave them unstructured, and whether to record what is said during an interview. There are three considerations. First consideration, interviewee selection is important. Researchers should choose people who have the right knowledge or experience. Ideally, participants are randomly selected to represent a wide group. But in reality, many researchers use non-random or network-based selection. It is where the people they know or are referred to. Second consideration is whether to conduct structured, unstructured interviews or semi-structured interviews. Structured interviews are interviews conducted with a pre-written set of questions which are read word for word to each interview subject will yield levels of consistency and comparability in the data collected. It means this follow a fixed set of questions as in the same order and manner. This approach ensures consistency and makes it easier to compare responses across participants. While unstructured interviews is the most flexible approach, has intention is to ask follow-up question in real time. It creates the most space for discovery and in-depth exploration of a topic, and is ideal when a researcher is in the initial stages of exploring a research topic, but it can go off topic. These are flexible and do not follow a strict format, unlike the structured interview. The conversation developed naturally, allowing deeper exploration of ideas. However, it may become less focused because of the follow up questions. Third, semi structured interviews, using prepared lists of questions to ask while allowing additional follow up questions means this combines the both the structure and the unstructured structure and flexibility. The researcher prepares key questions, but it is free to ask follow-up questions to explore responses further. The third consideration is whether and how to record interviews. Simplest way is the pen and paper. Write notes during the interview or immediately after to recall as much as possible of the conversation. Second option is recording the interview, either just a sound recording or video. It is also important to transcribe the recording into text. This can be done using transcription software or manually transcribing a replay of the recording. At some point, the data collected from an interview will need to be entered into a larger database.
So the next method of qualitative is the documentary sources. So what is documentary sources? Documentary sources can contain a wealth of information to address a research questions. Documents here are treated as primary source or original source material that can help with answering some aspects of a research questions. So, document sources are written or recorded materials that can use in research. These are called primary because they obtain an original information. So, instead of asking people, you will read the documents to answer your research questions. Example, government records. We have laws or reports, books for journals, and online documents like PDF and websites. So documents here need not to be created at the time or place that we are interested in studying, but we can still use them as long as they are related. So the variety of documentary sources available to our researchers will be a function of the researchers' access, resources, and creativity. So your sources will depend on your resources, your money, your tools, your access, or can you get that document, and your creativity on how you search. So here are the two steps of documentary sources. First, getting to know librarians and related databases and archives that are available through libraries. Librarians often know about collection of documents, archives, or other repositories of key documents. So, libraries and archives have many documents. We can ask librarians to guide us where to find them. So, for example, if we want to study about the student behavior, so the librarian help us to find school report or research papers. So the next steps is understanding the organization's landscape in which a given research topic is embedded. So understand where document is exists. So we have to know which organization are connected to your topic or to our topic. Just for example, if your topic is about human rights, we look at the UN documents or the NGO reports. So moving on to the several ways in collecting documents, there are two. First, drawing out case section in collected documents to reference or quote from when writing up research findings. So we have to highlight or copy a case sentences. Example, you quote a law from a government documents in your paper. So that represent and extract important parts of the documents. Next, to conduct content analysis or keywords or phrases. This can be as basis as counting the frequency a term appears in a set of documents. So, study words or phrases in documents. So example, you will count how many times the word poverty appears in report or let's say in advance. You use numbers like counting words or patterns. Check if education appears more over time. So here, it represents the content analysis. So now let's move on to the next method of qualitative, the ethnographic research. So what is ethnographic research? Ethnographic research calls on the researchers to be close observer of the practices, language, culture, beliefs, and other aspects of life of their research subjects. So in short, ethnography is all about observation or observing people. So as noted by Reeves et al., ethnography is the study of social interaction, behavior, perception that occurs within groups, teams, organization, and communities. So you go to place and watch people, how they live, act, and interact. Let's say, for example, you want to study street vendors. So you will go to the market and observe how they sell, they talk to customer, and how they do their daily routine. So we have this question, why engage in ethnographic research? So ethnographic research is a powerful tool for building a more holistic understanding of hitherto unknown or very superficially understood phenomena in the social world. It is because to understand things deeply, not a surface level. Example, instead of just knowing what people do, you understand why they do it. So next question is, how does a researcher conduct ethnographic research? So we have to answer. A researchers must record their observation with engage at their research sites or sites. So we have to write notes like a diary or example, vendors start selling at 6 a.m. before cash payment. So that is example of the kanang How researchers conduct ethnographic research? It is because we have to make our own diary and our own records. So next is ethnography may also draw on the qualitative tools noted earlier in this chapter, such as interviews and documentary sources. Moving on to the next method of qualitative is the digital ethnography. So what is digital ethnography? Digital ethnography asserts that there is a materiality digital of worlds, which are neither more nor less material than the worlds that preceded them. So it talks that study online instead of physical places. So let's say, for example, you study behavior on Facebook groups, TikTok trends, and online communities. So internet, like all social spaces, is deeply political. Government documents are uploaded to government web page, and transparency initiatives and societal actors in turn upload leaked government documents to sites such as WikiLeaks to party challenge official narratives. So refers the read that internet is also a real social space, not just virtual. So the last method of qualitative is the case studies. So what is case studies? In the words of political scientist John Herring, a case study is an intensive study of single unit or the purpose of understanding a larger class of similar units. So case study, in other words, case study is in-depth study of one specific thing, a person, event, place, or group. So a case study is above all else an in-depth description and exploration of an event, person, group, and or place. In addition to deep analytical description, case studies may be critical and present evidence to build counter narratives to the dominant narrative of an event. So you focus on one case to understand a bigger case. So let's say, for example, you study one school to understand education problems. You study barangay to understand poverty. And your purpose is to understand a larger group using one example. So now let's move on to the case selection, which is very important. First, given the definition above, a case study should be relevant to the theory or hypothesis that a researcher wishes to test. So in the case, must match your research. If studying online learning, don't choose a school without internet. So of course, if you're studying online learning, you don't have to choose a school without internet. So next, the second is the selected case should be representative of a larger. For example, choose an average school, not a very unique one. So the last case selection is a hinges to practical consideration. So consider the time, money, and access. So if you want to study, you have to choose a nearby community instead of far place that represent to your time, your money, and your access. So overall, document sources is the use of documents. Ethnography is or observing people. Digital ethnography is observe online or studying online. And the case study is study case deeply.